Welcome back to The Grind. In this video, we are going to take a look at Super Sigil chests, which now are available since yesterday, I believe, and will be available for the final 2 weeks of the Soul Dance season. So we're going to go and buy some of these. Also, by the way, these Super Sigil chests probably look the coolest of the recent seasons, in my opinion. So we're going to open a bunch of these, actually, and I'll just kind of chat about Super Sigil chests in general and why they're beneficial and who benefits from them. And then I'll probably try to talk more structured at the start, and then I'll probably just be rambling on as we continue to open these chests. But we're going to open a bunch of them. So basically, Super Sigil chests are very helpful in getting a bunch of sigils at the end of the season for your rubies. Now, the problem is that rubies being spent on something like gold chests is much more valuable for game progression. There's a nice 1,000 there, because you can get resources to build your base as well as to level up dragons. Or to breed dragons. Now, the thing to consider, though, is if you are very close to finishing a branch, then you probably would want to finish that branch if it's a rider so that you can max it out, or if you're at end game and you want, or close to end game, and you want to get like the last tier of the dragon, then obviously you're going to have to finish that branch. Now, I don't typically recommend spending rubies on Super Sigil chests just to finish a second line or an extra line after a mythic, but it is very useful to use Super Sigil chests to complete your final line in your attempt to get a mythic dragon. Because when you spend Super Sigil chests or rubies on Super Sigil chests to unlock the final line, you are getting a lot of decent resources from the line itself. It's not quite the same as what you would get from opening chests, but it is fairly reasonable when you consider that you're also getting a dragon or a rider, or if it's the pylon branch, or the electrum branch, then you're getting a lot of resources from that too. So you are getting good resources, but not quite as good as if you were to just open up, say, gold chests. Now, if it is completing your final keys for a mythic dragon, then you're getting all those resources, plus the branch specific items, and in addition to that, you're getting back a mythic dragon, which is kind of hard to put value on when you're comparing it to gold chests, for example. Now, what's also nice is when you spend on Super Sigil chests to finish a branch, you're going to be getting gold chests from the line as well, which then can be carried over to next season and help you with getting, sigils and stuff in that season. Now, again, it's not as good as if you were to just simply spend the rubies on gold chests in the following season, but it does help. Hey-oh, there's that 5,000 sigil reward there. So if you want to take a close look at my last several drop sequences, you can take a look at what you get in your drops, and if it lines up, matches with what I got since I started opening them, then you can basically count back and show yourself how many more openings until you get the 5K drop. Because the sequence is the same for everyone, but everyone starts at a different spot. So if you open up, say, 3 sets of 10 and you find the exact sequence and it matches up with my sequence that I've already done prior to this 5,000 sigil drop, then you might have a chance at this if you can match it up and you are within a reasonable distance to get that. And we haven't been opening up that many so far, so not too far from where I started. Wow, that's a pretty satisfying drop there. So as I was saying, it is good to help finish a branch, and a lot of players won't be able to get a mythic without spending Super Sigil chests. And I do have a video specifically on comparing spending your rubies on Super Sigil chests for a branch compared with spending them on gold chests and stuff. And so you can check that out. It's a sigil, super sigil chest comparison video. I also have a video talking about how to best plan for a mythic dragon, and it definitely goes into detail on how the super sigil chests fit in with that. You do get on average 1100 sigils when you factor in the bonus drop. 1100 sigils for every set of 10, or for every 5,000 rubies that you spend on a set of 10. Now, this is an average. The sequence varies a lot, so any one set of 10 might only give you like 900 sigils. Another one might give you over 5,000, as we saw with that nice drop. Well, another one might give you, more likely 1,300 at max, but on average, you'll come out to about 1,100 per set of 10. Now, if you're only opening 10 to 20, you might not get that average. You might get more, you might get less. But if you're opening closer to 100, hey, another 1,000 there, that's nice. If you're opening closer to like 50 to 100, you should be able to expect fairly close to that 1,100 sigil average. And that has held true for me in all my seasons of opening super sigil chests. Now, why am I opening so many super sigil chests? I already got my mythic dragon. So what I am doing this season, and this will not fit for every single player, but what I am doing this season with the Draconic chests that are available in the Hueso branch, those are a really good deal if you spend sigils on them. Now, if you just spend rubies straight on the Draconic chests, it's pretty expensive. The drop average takes a lot of drops to hit the average, so it's a bit of a gamble, similar to platinum chests. The items in the Draconic chests are not quite the same as in the gold chests, and the number of sigils you get out of Draconic chests are actually less than the gold chests per ruby spent on them. However, if you are spending rubies on super sigil chests and then buying Draconic chests from the end of the Hueso branch, it's for 500 sigils for 4 Draconic chests, it actually ends up being much cheaper than if you were to straight spend the rubies on the chests. Now, I do have a video on comparing the cost of these chests and what you get in return compared to spending on gold chests strictly, and it does come out to have slightly less sigil outcome, but you get a lot more of other resources that are very helpful for progression, specifically like egg tokens and mythic now is it mythic or mystic egg fragments? I always mess that one up, but tons of those in comparison to gold chests, and lots of other stuff, including PvP resources. I don't think Draconic chests drop embers, and we can actually take a quick peek here at what they do drop. And yeah, so I don't see any embers. The other thing to consider too is you are going to get Hueso shards. You will only get as many Hueso shards as are required to get the dragon to max tier at this time. So once you max it out, the drops will actually be better for you. So the more you open, the better it will actually become. But even with the Hueso shards in the mix, the drops are actually very good. So since I have extra rubies, and the fact that I'm spending a bunch this season to get those is not going to mess up my chance at a mythic next season, I decided that best thing for me for progression was to spend a bunch of my rubies this season on super sigil chests to claim a ton of Draconic chests from the Hueso branch, which will be extremely helpful for me in the start of next season to get the discount lines done right away, as well as get a huge jump on my progression towards a mythic next season, and probably even 2 if I decide I want both of them, because of how many Draconic chests I will have. Now, I may save some Draconic chests for the following season if I don't feel like I need them, but that's what I am doing. Now, not everybody is going to fit into that category, because if you're planning to get a mythic at some point, you don't want to waste all your sigils right now necessarily, unless you plan to save all the Draconic chests for another season and build up your ruby stash once again so that you have some available for super sigil chests at the end of the season. Now, if you have been saving up and you know that you can get about 100 to 150,000 rubies throughout a season, and that is enough to complete one branch, if you can calculate for yourself that if you spend all your rubies on super sigil chests to get Draconic chests, and you calculate that you'll have enough sigils to get you through 2 branches next season, and then the super sigil chests with the amount of rubies you'll earn from that season is enough to complete the 3rd branch, then you might actually be able to do this and still get a mythic next season. So definitely check out my videos on planning for that. It helps you kind of break down where you get your sigils, and everyone's a bit different, so you kind of have to calculate it out for yourself. But if you have not completed the Hueso branch, and if you don't have that many rubies, doing this is probably not going to be as beneficial, because if you still have to complete the Hueso branch, then you're spending a lot of your sigils just to complete that branch, and it's definitely not as valuable if you do that. In fact, FireX Fury has a video on YouTube that compares the value of spending rubies on super sigil chests to complete the Hueso branch and then get Draconics. So you should check that out if you are in that position. So now we'll show you. Wow, I opened up a ton of those super sigil chests while we were talking because I have 80,000 sigils. That is insane. I did not know I had that many. I may have accidentally depleted my entire ruby stash. So now we're going to just go in here and hammer out a bunch of these Draconic chests. This is the plan. We are going to crush them out, and then we'll see how many we got. And I hope I didn't use more sigils, or sorry, more rubies than I was hoping to. In fact, I'm not actually going to, just thinking about if we need to stop early. I'll probably open a bit more super sigil chests because I think I'm going to want to spend on these daily branches. But let's see now how many Draconic chests we have. 641. So that'll be a great start to next season. I'm going to have to take a look at my ruby stash. I may have depleted too much, but, you know, such is life. If I have to open up some chests for sigils, I can always do that. But anyways, I hope it was interesting seeing all those super sigil chests open up, see how much we got. I wish I was keeping track. If somebody wants to count all the sets of 10 that I opened, please let me know in the comment section, but I probably will not be going back to count those. But since it's about 1,000 to 1,100 per set of 10, then we got 880. So that was probably 800. Was that really 800 super sigil chests? Probably. Maybe not quite that many, probably between 750 to 800. But anyways, that's all I have for this video. We'll definitely make a video when I open the Draconic chests next season, and we'll definitely make another video later today when we see the next day of the trading post. So we also have Kingdom Wars coming live this afternoon, so keep an eye out for that. Get prepared, get ready to go if you need more sigils from this season. Then you'll have to go hard in this event. But a lot of players are finished up with their plans and will probably be taking this event more casually. I'll probably try to make a video briefly of the event just to take a look at the changes in action. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.